Good morning and welcome to another edition of Dive In with Captain Sean Luxury Spotlight, part 2 in our series on Italy. I haven't decided how many parts we're going to have because there's a lot of different parts of Italy. But particularly, we're going to be talking about Florence and the Villa Adore, where myself and a bunch of other people from Worth Avenue had a fam trip last month. It was an amazing, amazing experience. Now, Florence is to me was always one of the hard parts to organize in an itinerary. And there's so many great things to see and do in Florence. There's art, there's food, there's history. You have great museums. It's a beautiful, beautiful spot, but it's far away from the coast. So how do you incorporate Florence without like long drives through traffic, through mountains, through all sorts of stuff? Well, there are a couple of different ways. It's like one is, I mean, you can use a helicopter, and that's a great way to get around Italy. But sometimes we don't have access to helicopters, or they're weather dependent. There's a lot of different things that might preclude you from using a helicopter. Anyway, Villa Adore solves that problem. Like logistically, it's located just outside of Florence. We're going to be talking about Villa Adore, in just a minute. I'm going to bring the two owners and creative minds behind it, Chris and Stephen. But prior to that, I want to talk a little bit about things to see and do in Florence. Now, Florence, again, one of my favorite destinations in Italy. When I was a captain, I was living in Viareggio or Livorno, and Florence was a great destination that we would go to drive out there. And I've got a lot of great friends in Florence, a lot of great experiences. And a few of the great experiences that I've had were one in particular is that I had one of the best dinners I've ever had in this violin and cello studio. This is the Paolo Vittori and Sons. Paolo is the older gentleman, second to the right. Lapo is my friend. He's to the left. Lapo was actually on the very first time I went to the Northwest Passage. He is the son-in-law of Neil Fidani, but a great guy in his own right. And he hosted this amazing dinner in this violin studio. It was one that I never forget. It was one of the best meals. Now, also another great thing to do while you're in Florence is, like, Florence, aside from having all the food and like art, culture, and history, it has a really fantastic health and wellness scene. And one of the premier places in Florence is the 22. It's a private club in Florence. It was founded by Aparna Fidani and Lucinda Pazzi back in 2020. It's a members only club, and just a really special place if you are into health and into health and wellness. So two big shout outs to them. But without further ado, we're here to talk with Chris and Stephen. So we're going to bring them on to the stage right now. Good morning.
Hey,
good afternoon to you guys. You're in Italy.
We are. Yeah, we are. We're in Poggibonsi, small little town.
Tell us where that is.
It's a small little town between Siena and Florence, right on the train line. So it's about maybe 35 minutes by train to Siena, and about an hour to Florence.
So that's nice. Now, you're generally, you're not in the villa. This is your own apartment. Just like, about how far away are you from the Villa Adore?
We're about 20 minutes, 20 minutes from the villa. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's nice. So again, thank you so much for the wonderful fam trip that you provided for us. It was a really special time to be over there. Veronica says hi. She says, look forward to seeing your interview. This is Chloe from our office in Monaco. And of course, Yara says hi as well. Laura from New York City. Cheese Pixie, all the way all the way from Scotland, Rue, Bree, Savannah, Virginia. Tons of great people that are tuning in for this broadcast. So when when we first kind of established a relationship between you guys, it was a really kind of a match made in heaven. Like I said earlier, you really solve a problem that we like I experienced with in the charter market, and that was like, how do you give people the full Tuscany experience, especially if you start out on board a boat? Last week's dive in with Captain Sean, we talked about Ischia, Naples, Capri. I was there with Marcia from Marcia Yachting. We talked about a great itinerary, but as we move up the coast, again, there's that gap. How do we get to Florence? Now, there's nothing better, I think, than to be able to spend a week at the Villa Ador, and then we're going to jump right into some pictures of the villa for those of you who aren't familiar with it. For those of you who aren't familiar with Villa Adore, go to villaadore.com or just type in Villa Adore Florence on Google. You'll come up with their website. Now, let's start off right from the beginning. Like this logo, tell us about that.
Well, the two boards that you see are on there because the forest that surrounds the villa is filled with wild boar. And so it's a very characteristic animal in the area. It's also an important part of the Tuscan cuisine. One of the things that you'll find in all of the best restaurants in the area is wild boar ragu. Cinghiali, they're called in Italian. But because it's such a characteristic animal, we decided to put it on the logo.
Some say there are more boar in Tuscany than people. That's how prevalent boar is.
Well, I used to know it was like when I was living in Viareggio, there was some trails that I used to go run, and occasionally, like in the wintertime, sometimes I'd have to do my runs at night, and it would end at the like right around sunset, and I'd all of a sudden see all these wild boars and little baby boars running around.
Yeah, we're really lucky because the forest that surrounds the villa the villa itself is fenced, so the animals aren't coming into the property itself. But we have such an array of wildlife. It really is, for being so close to Florence and Siena, it really is a kind of wilderness feeling area when you're out there in the woods.
Well, you definitely feel that way when you drive into it. It's like you're going from passing through all those vineyards and down like kind of like these like back roads and these old estates that are, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of years old. Now, this is was one of the first conceptual drawings that you had?
This is actually, I think it's a pencil drawing of the villa as it looked before we bought it. Before we bought it, it was used as really kind of live-in bed and breakfast, very kind of something your grandma may have decorated, and it didn't have all the creature comforts that it has now. The family actually lived in the house that you can see in the front, and then they rented out the other building.
So, and then we'll see kind of this is a more obviously the modern view from like the drone shot where you put the pool in. You turned that small house off to the right into a spa, and there's a great the upstairs on that has I wouldn't say it's a little more modern than the rest of the villa, but there's that great suite with the fireplace in it, and you have a little kitchen there, and we can talk a little bit more about we get to it. Now, this is of course our two hosts right there. Look at these guys like having fun in Italy. Now, how did you two guys from the US, how did you come over? How did you decide that you were going to come over and do this?
You want to start?
Yeah, it was a little bit of an not an accident exactly, but it wasn't as though we were in the US going about our lives and said, we're going to build this luxury vacation house in in the woods in Tuscany. We just fell in love with Florence when we came here about 15 years ago to visit, and just really found ourselves spending more and more time first in Florence and then in the surrounding area, and eventually decided that it felt so much like home that we wanted to have a place for ourselves here. And so we bought a place, Villa Ardore, it is now, that we made into what we would want it to be if it was our house that we lived in full time, which we do in the winter. We don't live there full time year round, obviously, but it just sort of evolved over time.
It started out, you know, when he tells the story, he usually says it's my fault, which it is. Most things are.
That's true.
But we were looking at first for an apartment in Florence, and at the time, prices were really high. You're in the center of Florence, which is one of the priciest cities in Italy to buy in. And if you're looking for, we started looking for a 1-bedroom apartment and realized, well, if we're going to spend a lot of time there, we're going to be working remotely, and having a 1-bedroom apartment is really not going to cut it. I'm very loud on the phone. If you can't get that from this, and he can't really be doing his work while I'm on the phone. That's so we had to look for like a 2-bedroom place. And when we started looking at 2-bedroom places, we were thinking, well, clients are going to want to come visit, friends are
why not 8 bedrooms?
Yeah, exactly. So we started looking at 3-bedroom apartments in the center of Florence, and you're already at 1.5 to 2 million euros just looking at 3-bedroom apartments that are maybe 1,000 square feet, 100 square meters. So we decided, well, since we're talking about that kind of price range, maybe we should be looking for something out in the countryside and monetize it and do something really special. And that's, when we were in the process of looking, that's when we eventually found Villa Ardore.
Well, but like you guys didn't, it wasn't like you skimped on anything. No. I mean, no. You did it like from an engineering point of view. And obviously I've got a background in that. I mean, like and for those of you who have all stayed in Italy, the two things that is always questionable, no matter, even if I'm in a really good hotel, is hot water and air conditioning. And water pressure. Yeah. And there wasn't a single time that I got a cold shower or it was uncomfortable or anything. But even like the windows that you put in, they weren't drafty. That was right. The place was clean. It was, and we'll get a little bit more into that. I want to give a shout out to you had a fantastic staff, but we're going to talk about them in a minute. The other thing I just want to touch upon real quick is you do your private label wine as well. Yeah.
Yes. So the city that the villa is in is Barberino Valdelsa. It's part of 2 towns that are together, Barberino Valdelsa and Barberino Tavernelli. It used to be 2 separate ones. They're combined now. Or is it the other way around?
No, it was Barberino and Tavernelli, and then one.
Yeah. And the winery that we chose is an organic winery in the middle of Barberino Valdelsa, which is where the villa is. And the wine is just spectacular. It's a small family estate. They don't advertise. They just have a small little shop in the old town center of Barberino Valdelsa. And one of the sons is a friend of ours. He did some work for us at the villa. And that's how we got to know his family and the wine and how amazing it is. And so when we decided that we wanted to have our own wine, we approached them and asked if they would let us put a private label on a bottle that they make for us. And they agreed. And now we have our Villa Ardore Chianti and our Villa Ardore Bianco.
Yeah, great thing. Now, as you come into the villa, this is one of the very first things you hear. The bar's off to your right. We're going to show that to you in a second. But it's like, tell us about like a lot of the art that you decided on.
All of the art is from local artists. The big blue painting that you can see just off to the left is an enormous painting that's by a local artist who actually people who come to the villa, if they want to, can go to her studio and actually have a glass of wine with her and watch her paint, and she can explain her art to them. But because it was so important to us that Villa Ardore be a place that is particular to its place, every last thing in the house is local. There's almost nothing that we brought from outside the immediate area, including the art, as I said, created by local artists. And these local artists are artists who, while local, display their work all over the world. They're not local artists in the sense of like somebody's grandmother doing a painting. It's really very thoughtful and well done art.
Yeah, one exception to that everything is local is that bar you're looking at right now. That bar is actually a very old, it's an antique from an old coffee shop in Paris. And it was brought in by the prior owners, and it's so beautiful we had to keep it. The top of it's made of zinc, and it's just gorgeous.
It's such a great bar, and that whole and what's I really love about your like I love about how your layout, and this is actually something that I've tried to do here in my own home, which is also for rent for the summer as well. The here on Cape Cod, we'll do a luxury spotlight on my house. But anyway,
shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. But anyway, what I like and what I think, like oftentimes on yacht designs, is that they create these giant open spaces that have lost all intimacy or lost spontaneity for people to gather. And where, I mean, obviously the Worth Avenue crowd was crowded around this bar, but
everybody does
exactly. But it felt very organic to be around there, and it was comfortable, and it had great flow through. And if you wanted to have a conversation, you could go off to the right, but still be part of the action. It's a really, really well thought out room. Now, behind, just to the right, you're going to see your wine cellar. Oh, well, actually, first we got to talk about Franchi.
Franci's amazing. He's our villa manager, as you know. You guys all met him. He is the consummate host. He is he genuinely cares, not just about the property and doing his job and everything that, comes with being a villa manager, but he genuinely cares about the people. And he really, by the end of the trip, people are his friends, and they keep in contact with him and, throughout the year. And many people have come back just because they want to see Franchi again.
Yeah.
He was wonderful. There's a longer interview that I did with you guys, which I'll be posting that probably next week. But I also did an interview with Franchi, which will also be part of that as well. If anyone wants to get to know him a little bit better, fascinating guy. Started out in the fashion industry. Real quickly,
Sean, he's also got mad bartending skills.
Oh no! Well, that was in the opening. It was him in the video and him. Yeah, no, Franchi's the man, and he was. It was one of those great, again, being in the service industry, he just did everything with style and aplomb. Nothing fazed him. It was, he really, really was, he's really, all of your staff was great. Even the cleaning people were really good. And his attention to detail. I mean, I got locked out one day because he was made sure that all the doors were locked. were locked, and I was like, I could not believe me. I was like thinking of ways to break in, and let me tell you, that place is secure.
That's what happens when you veer from the group, Sean.
I know. I went rogue, and I got locked out in the rain. Your wine cellar is really, really impressive. I mean, this is the area that's directly behind the bar. It's climate controlled. You also have a pretty good, I don't, funnily enough, I don't smoke or drink, but I do appreciate what good wine is, and also good. That's where you also keep cigars as well.
Yeah. Yes. It's humidity controlled as well.
Yeah. It's a really, really fine selection. And of course, just like a yacht charter, if your guest did have special requests, they could wanted some really special wine or cigars or whatever, that you guys definitely have the space to store it and store it properly. Now, after you drink all that wine, of course, a good game of Cards Against Humanity is.
Oh, that was such a fun night.
that was. I had to. So when looking for cards, pictures online, this was the best I could get. That we're a PG show.
That was suitable for work. We have this jumbo box. I can't remember what they call it, of Cards Against Humanity, and the game's been out for a long time, and there've been different iterations of it. But when we opened that up for the first time when you guys were there, because nobody had opened it up before that in the year and a half we've been doing this, I saw so many new cards that just had me in tears. I was laughing so hard.
I got to see a side from Alexandra from Monaco, who's always British and proper. It was like she had some of the I was like, oh wow, really, and then you guys too. And I got to admit,
we had a real thing going. We really appreciate each other's sense of humor.
Ask her about her acorns next time you see her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everyone email Alexandra about her acorns. That would be going, because we're in a squirrel. I subconsciously picked a squirrel theme because of that. Yes. Moving on. And this was the scene of the crime at this big table right here. Now, what was really cool about that table is how many people could you fit at this table?
So it has two extensions on it, so it fits up to, I believe, 20.
20, yeah.
And but we normally have it set up for about 12, because usually there's about 12 to 14 people that stay at the villa at any one time. But occasionally, like when we had you guys out there, we had, I think, 21. So we had both the both of the end pieces on it. And it really fits in the room nicely. Behind there is, you see that mirror, that's actually a TV. So you mentioned that, we really paid attention to detail in doing the remodel. And one of the things that was really important to us is to give it all of the modern conveniences, but not let them really be visible in the space. So that is, for example, a TV, that giant mirror that you see. And the reason we put it in the dining room is so that when we have business groups, corporate retreats, they can do presentations on the mirrored TV.
We had a group that had a birthday, and they had pictures from the person's life through their showing during their birthday dinner.
Yeah. We have a couple of those in the house. One's in the bar, so people could watch, a match if they wanted to do that while they're enjoying the bar. And there's one upstairs in the main common room upstairs. It's kind of like a little living room, sitting room.
Yeah, because we wanted to preserve the authentic Tuscan country feel of the place, we didn't want anything as grossly modern as a TV showing anywhere. And yet, in modern life, people do occasionally want a TV. So we do have TVs, but they don't look like TVs until you turn them on. They're disguised as mirrors.
Yeah, and the connectivity is great. The whole property is covered in mesh Wi-Fi, outside and in, all over. And there's USB ports by each bedside. So if people forget a charger, we have a box of chargers and adapters. But if people forget them or use them all, they can easily use a USB port.
Yeah, it was, and that was the one thing is again, when the amenities are seamless, you don't notice them, and the connectivity that you have, it just is booming Wi-Fi, and you need a charger, bang, there it is. It's like you don't have to think about it, and you don't even have to ask for it, because everything is right there, and again, like that right there, that's a television as well too, because I hate really spoiling the looks of what is essentially a giant black hole.
Yeah.
And when you walk into anywhere in your villa, you feel really immersed in the Tuscan countryside, yet every modern convenience is available to you.
Yeah, same with the air conditioning and heating units.
Yeah.
You know, you see those a lot in a lot of the properties, the villas and the farmhouses in Italy, and they're these big, ugly white boxes that are, you know, kind of eyesores in the room. But what we've done is we found a way to cover them all. So we cover them all with a piece of fabric that matches the decor of the room. So you know it's there, but it fits in as opposed to looking like an eyesore. And
yeah,
there's air conditioning in every single room in the villa.
Yeah, the attention to detail that you had that is like that is you didn't skimp. I find oftentimes, like, again, even in nice places that I've stayed in Europe, like the exposed, like they'll, rather than like run a pipe behind a wall, they'll just throw it on the wall or something. And there was none of that. It was just really, really seamless. The other thing that you had that was great too is like back to all the custom branding and that you had is like your dinnerware and everything with like the custom logos on that. Those plates are available, or you can hook the people up with if they want their own dinnerware made. Like a lot of the well, actually, I was going to say a lot, but most of the things in your at Villa Adore are made all by local artisans, and then I have
That's right.
Of course and you get great branding, like really, again, attention to detail, like my little Villa Adore luggage tag there, and nice little box. Just a lot of nice touches.
Thank you.
The other part that was great is that you have this really wonderful family style kitchen that, again, is off those two main rooms that you can kind of go in there, grab a snack if you want. There's a chef that, you know, will like some of the meals that came out of there, but you also have a really big industrial kitchen. So you can really crank out the food when you need it.
Yep.
The benefit of that industrial kitchen is you can also serve kosher or halal if your guests, you know, have that kind of dietary restriction, because it's a separate kitchen and can be certified that the practices used in the kitchen are halal or kosher.
Yeah, you can. You've got things set up really, really well. The other there's several great dining areas, but the other kind of dedicated dining area is this one that's outside.
It's one of my favorite parts of the villa.
Yeah, it really is.
It's our back loggia. It seats 20 people, and it's just beautiful right there in the middle of the countryside. This view, you can see the forest, but if you look from the other view, you see San Gimignano in the distance, and the vineyards and a couple of castles that are nearby. It's so beautiful, and our pizza oven's right on the other side of that.
Well, that segued to add a picture of the pizza oven, but I was going to say, just on the other side of that wall is all your own herb gardens and your chickens.
Yeah. Yep. Yes. Cosimo and the girls.
Yep.
Cosmo and the girls. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of chicken cam footage. I don't quite know what to do with it, but anyway, I had a little snippet of them. That Cosmo, though, just trying to get the camera in there, he was not having any of that. It was
our hens are very well protected.
They really, really are. That rooster, no one's getting near him.
Nope.
Yeah.
Now,
well, luckily they lay the eggs in a box outside, so they're easy to get to every morning.
Now, one of the cool things that you arranged for us was this pizza masterclass.
Yeah, Gianluca, the pizzaiolo, is amazing. He's really like an artist of pizza. He does appetizer pizzas, the steamed pizza that he makes, the main course pizzas, dessert pizzas. As you remember from that night that we all were out there on the loggia having pizza, that party just lasted for hours and hours with just one pizza after another, and each one with a different flavor. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, really. Oh no. Well, I was starved. So I was like, was filling up with a pizza margarita, and I was like, okay, well that's it. But then everyone kept making more pizza. Yep. So I was like, I had like probably like 4 pizzas that evening. It was.
Well, what's so incredible about Gianluca is he's such a he's just such a great person that he's a really easy teacher. So like not every, like there's no obligation to make a pizza with him if you don't want to, but those who wanted to, he's so good at showing people how the process works from the beginning with the dough all the way through taking it out of the oven and putting things on it. He's incredible.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was yeah, one of our guests, I won't name names, but she was telling Franchi about a cheeseburger pizza.
Right. Yes.
Franchi was horrified.
Yes, that left an impression on Franchi for sure.
Franchi was horrified. He's like, how can you put the cheeseburger on the pizza? And
I never thought that there would be anything that would replace the Hawaiian pizza in the horror of pizza horror in Franchi's mind, but this one has done it.
Yeah, I was kind of like, as an American, I'm like, cheeseburger pizza sounds pretty good, you know. And he's like, was just disgusted by us, you know, uncouth Americans. One of my favorite views of like this is oh yeah, there's the culprit. Anyway, yeah, Franchi, you should send Shelby. You should send Franchi your cheeseburger pizza recipe.
Hey, Shelby.
Anyway, so I love this is when as you're driving into the villa, this is your first impression of what you see, and it's a great view of the main house and the spa. And what do you call, what's the official name for that?
We've been calling it the spa house.
The spa house.
The spa suites, because it has 2 suites upstairs, and downstairs is dedicated to the industrial kitchen and then next to it the spa.
The official name for it in like it's like name as it's registered is a dependence from the French dépendance. I don't know why the Italians adopted this word to describe a smaller house that's attached in some way to a bigger property, but people refer to it as the dependence, but we don't call it that because it sounds like a tax write-off.
Yeah, and in Spanish it would be a casita.
Again, one of the great views from the outside of the villa. Now, that's the little terrace off. What's the name of the bedroom? The suite. That's the
master suite in the main villa.
Yeah, and that's your view from the master suite as you look over. And these, like, you know, a lot of the times, like I'll go to a place, I'll see photos, especially like with boats, like they're on their best day, and so they're everything's shiny and everything's like everything that you're seeing in the photos. Some of these are from the websites. There's a few that I took. It is how the place looks all the time. There's no difference when you get there.
If anything, again, the pictures don't do it justice.
No, the pictures do not do it justice. Even like, again, these are some of the photos that I grabbed that Rue sent me from some of your stuff, and a few that I grabbed off your website. But which your website's excellent, by the way. It really does a great job of it tells a great job of telling the story. All the links work. Well, it goes into really the experiences that you can give especially when it comes to weddings or anything else. It's a very good website. Again, one of the suites.
This is the room that balcony was off of that we were talking about a second ago.
Yeah, this is the master in the villa.
Yeah, and the great, wonderful ceilings, and that's
also the master. Yeah.
And the views up there, really pretty. And then that's over in the spa house.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the spa fireplace suite.
Yeah, that was and that's the bathroom in the master is actual heaven. This is where I stayed. I stayed in the office, but to call it the office is really doing it an injustice. This was that was the view that I had when I was doing some work. There's a great little door that I could go that is made sure is locked every time that you leave it. Anyway, by Frenchie. And the couch is probably, it's like, it was like you guys said, it was a fold out bed. And like, I didn't care. I was just happy to be going on there, but it was probably the most comfortable fold out bed that I've ever slept on.
Yeah. That mattress is super thick and
is fantastic.
Yeah.
So those are just a couple of examples, a few of the suites in there. The events that you guys can host are amazing, especially like the weddings that you do. There's you've worked with a bunch of different wedding planners, or you can have wedding planners that can do it for you. You do a lot of it is an absolute dream kind of location. Some of the other things that you've organized are like, if you want to rent like Italian cars and drive throughout the countryside, that you can do that. You've really thought out a lot of the different events and stuff. Tell us a little bit about some of the events that you do.
Well, one of the things that we really wanted to do is showcase the authenticity of Tuscany and also showcase it in a luxury setting. And so, I happen to be a lawyer representing a lot of high-end performance auto dealers. So, our clients are Ferrari dealers, they're Lamborghini dealers, they're Rolls-Royce dealers. And, I know a lot of my clients and friends really enjoy driving supercars and high performance vehicles. So we took a lot of time and effort to develop relationships with people that have those kinds of vehicles, the older ones and the newer ones. People can rent a vintage Fiat Cinquecento, or they can rent, a brand new Ferrari Spider or whatever they want in between. We're right there in the heart of Chianti. So there's this road that connects all of the Chianti towns. So we're 15 minutes from Castellina in Chianti, which is one of the classic, iconic Chianti towns. The road that connects them all is called the Chiantigiana. And it's just a winding road through vineyards and forest and these small little medieval towns. It's absolutely breathtaking. And to take a supercar on that road is just absolutely exhilarating.
It's wonderful to drive on.
Yeah.
It definitely sounds like a lot of, so yeah, I want to go now. The grounds around, this is obviously a drone shot of the pool that was in that little opening video that we took of zooming in from that. It's just a fantastic area, night or day. On the very back of this photo, you see that bar that lights up, and you've had DJs and events and lights and stuff, and that is just the perfect place just to have an epic party. But also, that's also where we did like a yoga class as well too. It's peaceful, but yet you can turn it into a nightclub.
In fact, we've done that. We had a well-known bass baritone Italian opera singer, give a concert out there with a guitarist one night. That was absolutely breathtaking, full moon and just absolutely gorgeous. And then we've had DJs play at right outside of that gazebo that you saw. They set up their table out there and they've played while we've been just having people enjoying a party. So, we have a couple that's getting married, in fact, in October, and they're doing their cocktail party for the reception at the pool.
Well, that's the other thing too, is like there's another facility right down the road where you can do overflow for guests as well too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So our road is a private white road. And the only other thing on it, we have a neighbor that's a few kilometers down at the end, real fascinating couple. And just before our property, about a kilometer, is that overflow place that you were talking about. And they can house, I think, maybe up to 50 people. So if you're doing a wedding, the most we can host is 60 people at the villa for the actual event, but we only have 8-bedroom suites. So we can only have, 16 people staying at the villa, or if they wanted to use the office like you did, convert it into a bedroom, you could have 18.
Yeah. The other great, I mean, again, to say that this isn't like a giant party venue.
No.
This is, like, I like to liken it to, this is like a 60-meter yacht that you could have a party on board, but yet still have the intimacy and still have the experience and the level of service that you would expect on something like that.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, because it's the thing that is really that really hits people when they arrive at Villa Ardore is utter relaxation, privacy, tranquility. And a lot of our guests, even, some of them have ordered paid for experiences or made reservations to have, experiences outside of the villa, to go visit one of the cities or go someplace and have go to a nice restaurant nearby. They cancel, most of the time they cancel their excursions outside of the villa and they do things in the villa. So we'll bring a private chef in, or like you were talking about wellness earlier, and we're looking at the spa. People can do facials and massages in the spa with our partners. So it's just a really relaxing place, as you know from being there. And but like you say, if people want to have a party, they want to have a DJ, they want to have a singer or a string quartet, they can do that. We can arrange that for them.
Yeah, people used to say to me, like, they'd be on board the boat and they'd go, "Can you recommend a good restaurant?" No matter where we were, I always say, "You're already in the best restaurant in town." And I wasn't wrong. And I believe you guys definitely can provide that type of experience. Now, some of the photos that you've just seen, this is that was a view that I had every night, was sitting right there and looking out in that with like the doors open and the stars. It was spectacular. And the lighting that you really, I mean, again, these pictures don't do this spa justice. It's actually, this looks a little claustrophobic. It's the complete opposite when you sit in there, and the lighting is just, you nailed the lighting everywhere in that whole villa. It's never garish. It's always just spot on. The sauna is just a great sauna. The steam room, I can understand why you couldn't get any pictures of that because the lens would keep fogging up. But it's it's really, really just it's how you would want a great magical spa to really be, and just a great spot to go relax.
Thank you.
And and you even have special glasses that don't break.
Yes, I was just about to say that because we don't want anybody to wind up with a piece of glass in their foot or anywhere else, God forbid. The glasses that we have both for the pool and also for the spa are they're plastic, but they feel a bit more like rubber than plastic because they don't feel like plastic.
No, they're really, really great.
Yeah, and you can't tell from looking at them. The only way you can tell that they're not glass is that they're light, but they're the nicest non-glass wine glasses that I've ever seen.
Yeah, and they don't fog up, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes those plastic ones fog up when you wash them, but these don't.
Now, these are the real glasses being served by your chef there. And that was one of the things that you also do too. Like we were just saying, the experiences that you can bring to the villa, such as cooking classes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then also too, we talked about the massages and the facials that you did, and then the wellness, the fit and wellness, the yoga instructor you had there was she was fantastic.
Thank you.
I actually did a headstand.
Wow.
I haven't done a headstand in a long time, but anyway, that was, I wound up doing it, but it was just a great day of being out by the pool, and the instructor was really, really good. She was I think the best type of yoga instructor is, whereas you were kind of relaxed and going through, but yet it was extremely challenging class. And is there anything else that you guys that you guys want to add?
Well, you mentioned that we solve a problem. I don't know if you were going to get to that. That we solve a problem with the chartering of the Italian Riviera, that area, and up in Tuscany here, Elba Island and Porto Stefano. So we solve that problem in a couple of ways. So one is at the beginning of a charter, a lot of people are coming from a different place, and several people that are coming from America have a huge time difference that they have to get used to. And a lot of people are coming off of really hectic last week at work, just trying to make sure everything is taken care of with their businesses before they relax for their charter. And what better way to relax and be ready for La Dolce Vita than to come to Villa Ardore and spend a week or 4 nights or 5 nights before your charter, get relaxed, have all your worries go away, and enjoy the Italian lifestyle and get used to the time zone before you then go off onto your charter. And one of the ways, we handle together with Worth the transportation from the villa to the port. And that's a seamless experience. Like you said at the beginning, it could be either by helicopter if your group is small enough, or it could be by bus. And when we do it by bus, there's drinks on the bus. It's a very nice, engaging experience.
It's not a crappy bus.
Right. It's a luxury coach. And it's an hour and a half to the coast. So it's a really nice way to go. And we stop at a winery on the way in the Bulgari region and have a nice lunch and wine tasting. And then you head off to the port and get ready for your charter.
Yeah, no, and that was it. Yeah, and that's a perfect wrap up and a great tie in to, again, why Worth Avenue Yachts has decided to partner with you guys to really give our guests and our clients a full, real Italian experience. And I hate to say you solve a niche, because you're so more than you do so much more than that. You really provide the same level of service and quality as that we strive to do on board the boats. And as someone that has given those experiences for decades, I can truly say that you are on par with some of the finest yachts anywhere in the world.
Thanks, Captain.
You're welcome. Now, does anyone have any quick questions before we wrap this up? Waiting for the questions to come. Everyone's furiously typing. No one's furiously typing. I guess we've answered all the questions. Anyway, I did a full interview with Christian and Stephen. We talk about how they met, some of the philosophies that they have in life. It's a really great in-depth interview with them. Also, too, with Franchi, with their chicken cam. We've got great chicken footage. We'll also be part of that as well. Laura asked, when are we going back? And then Shelby says the same thing as well.
Come on back.
And we would love to do that. If you want more information, visit villaadore.com, or you can ask any one of us here at Worth Avenue Yachts. The emails and the links for all of that will be in the description of the video. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I look forward to visiting you guys again, and then let's maybe we'll do a follow up after this summer, and have some. Maybe you can share with us some great event footages, or fill us in with more. You can take. Oh yeah, then Gail asked you can take next time. Gail, you can come. Anyway,
be happy to.
Thank you so much. I just always got to give a couple of big shout outs. I got a card. I got to remember everybody. Thank you, everybody at Worth Avenue Yachts. Thank you for letting me do this on their channel. Of course, everyone at the Villa Adore, Jare, Rue, Franchi, the amazing housekeeping staff that you had there. They were great as well.
Can I add one thing to that?
Yeah.
We also didn't mention Ricardo. You talked about how incredible the grounds of the villa are, and they are.
Yes. Oh, I forgot about Ricardo. Yeah.
And that's because of our staff person who looks after the grounds, the property manager, Ricardo, who is just absolutely like a magician with plants.
Yeah, no, it really is. And he's the guy, he's the magic behind why that place looks fantastic.
And guests always find fresh vegetables and fruit from the property and magically appearing in the kitchen, and eggs in the morning because he goes out and takes care of that.
No, it's really great. You've created a wonderful, wonderful, magical family in that place. And you can tell that actually, this is a great segue into next week. I'm doing a kind of little bit of a different dive in with a captain called David Meyer. We're going to be talking about getting the best out of your crew. And part of doing that is creating ownership within the people that are around you. And everybody that I encountered, that you could really felt that they had great pride in Villa Adore. They loved you guys, and they really, really felt like owners. Every person I talked to felt like I was talking to someone that owned the villa.
Yeah.
And that's a special thing. You guys have done an amazing job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. On that note, thank you, the New York Explorers Club. If you're looking to explore Tuscany, this is the place to go. Of course, the Yacht Club de Monaco. You guys, which hopefully we'll be having dinner there in August with you.
Looking forward to that.
You look forward to that as well, too. Now, Gina actually, really quick question. So Gina asked, what are the rates, please?
So they're seasonally adjusted.
You, Gina?
They're seasonally adjusted. We have high season, shoulder season, and low season. And then we have the Christmas holiday has a separate rate as well. We have two different rate types, a base rate and a full rate. And the base rate basically just comes with everything that's at the villa normally. The full rate comes with a chef for lunch and dinner, as well as the breakfast chef, which comes with the base rate, and a trip from Florence at the beginning and a trip back to Florence at the end. So you get shuttled. And I think that's it.
Yeah, we're not going to.
Oh, I didn't say what the rates are. So I don't have them memorized.
That was the best lawyer answer ever.
We have a marketing and sales team, and they know those better than I do.
Again, contact for those to give you guys a ballpark. It would be like chartering like a 30 to 40 meter is right where we're at, and then of course. Yeah.
I think in summer the base rate's like 56 or 58 or something like that a week, and the full rate is around 75-ish. I don't know exactly.
And then you'll add on to there. Anyway, again, big shout out to Marcia from Marcia Yachts. Thank you very much for being with us for the last dive in with Captain Sean, and of course Talapo and Aparna in Florence. Hopefully seeing you guys soon. And we will see you next time, or actually next week, when we'll be talking about how to get the most out of your crew. There's a little video that I'm going to play a little quick exit video, and then another little video kind of give you a preview of what that is. Gentlemen, stay backstage with us. I'll talk to you after we go. So we'll see you next time. Oop.
fix up the Masons of White.
I would, but you know, I did something on my neck. I think I slept on it funny. I should probably just take it easy, or else I'll be no good for work tomorrow.
No!
You gotta love being outside.